So, in my honest opinion, I feel like we actually had a very good episode of SmackDown here. Recently, about 2, 3 weeks ago, they actually started to, I guess, hear the criticisms as far as SmackDown goes and as far as the whole product itself, how it kind of feels somewhat lifeless. Again, this is still a work in progress for SmackDown because I think, especially for SmackDown, they have a lot more to correct compared to like Raw, where I feel like most of the stuff there is at the very least passable and entertaining. But regardless, here we had some major matches announced for Saturday night's main event. One being Cody Rhodes against Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship, and the other being Jade Cargill against Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship. I have a lot to say about both matches, but let's start off here with the kickoff to the entire show. We had Cody Rhodes come out here and kick off the entire show. He mentioned how last week when he had that match with Drew McIntyre, he did something that was rather out of character for him, and he actually hit Drew McIntyre with the WWE Championship over the face, over the head, and caused a disqualification. He said whether or not he should apologize to Drew McIntyre. This eventually brought out Drew McIntyre, who made some very good points here as far as Jacob Fatu and as far as, Cody Rhodes. I guess you could say Cody Rhodes trying to use his stroke of power against McIntyre. He mentioned the referees at WrestlePalooza. He mentioned, how the fans are, brainwashed by corporate Cody. He mentioned also how there's nobody else that hates this family, the Samoan family, more than Drew McIntyre, but he swears on his grave that he wasn't the one that attacked Jacob Fatu. He pointed fingers at, possibly it was Jimmy Uso, right? Jimmy Uso, he has reasons to attack Fatu because, Jimmy Uso, he's kind of the black sheep of the family. He kind of feels left out. And eventually, Jimmy Uso did come out here and brawl around with Drew McIntyre. This gave us the main event match with Drew McIntyre and Jimmy Uso. One thing before I actually mention the main event here, there has been a lot of people asking whether or not who attacked Fatu. I feel like, number one, if you actually reveal it to be Drew McIntyre, what a letdown that's going to be, because we're all kind of fantasy booking this, whether it could be possibly Cody, whether it could be possibly Randy Orton. I feel like something like this, it shouldn't be as obvious as it seems, right? I don't think the end game should really be that it's Drew McIntyre. I think the end game should be that it is possibly somebody like a Randy Orton, because where has Randy Orton been for the last, month and a half? I haven't seen Randy Orton on SmackDown anywhere to be found. So, possibly that's how we reintroduce him back into this whole, championship title picture. Or possibly, this is kind of far-fetched, but what if it is Cody? What if Cody, he actually found Fatu to be his biggest threat and he took him out himself? Now, again, that's kind of far-fetched. I don't really believe that that's going to be the case, but I could get down with that. I could fuck around with the idea of a possible heel Cody, because it would definitely add some sort of, I guess, drama and shock factor to the whole championship picture here. And as far as Drew and Jimmy Uso, this was kind of a standard television singles match. This was a no DQ match. Eventually, Drew got the win. He attacked Jimmy post-match. Cody came out here for the save, but then eventually Drew stood tall over both men. Again, I'm not really sure whether or not what happens at Saturday night's main event, because Drew has gone in there and lost to Cody at WrestlePalooza. I'm not saying he's going to win here, but at the very least, I wouldn't really suspect a clean win, a clean finish to this match, because then you kind of start to look at the point of, man, what is Drew doing taking losses after losses? The second match that we got announced here for Saturday night's main event was Jade Cargill against Tiffany Stratton. This was kind of leaked out there earlier in the day, and it was made official here during the Tiffany Stratton Kiana James match. Eventually, we saw Jade Cargill return, and she officially turned heel on Tiffany Stratton, laid her out. And this is something I've been calling for a long time, because Jade Cargill as a babyface, it doesn't seem to stick. It doesn't seem to work really with the crowd, because she comes out here and she has this like aura presence, I guess you could call it, but it doesn't really translate as a actual baby face. And now that she turned heel, this makes it a lot more interesting as far as, if she actually does win, which I could, at this point, I think I see her winning this championship. If she does win, how and when are we going to see Bianca Belair? Because we haven't seen Bianca Belair ever since WrestleMania. And if you remember, before WrestleMania, what was she doing? She was involved with Jade Cargill and Naomi. Now, obviously, we don't have Naomi at this given point in time, but eventually when Bianca does return, you got to kind of wonder what that's going to lead to as far as Jade and Bianca. We also had Ilya Dragunov continue the Open Challenge here, the United States Open Challenge with Aleister Black. There was a segment in the back between Sammy and Ilya where Sammy was kind of, motivating Ilya to continue the Open Challenge tradition, which I kind of was two ways about this. I viewed this as in a sense of, this is Sammy's official, I guess, speech, not only to Ilya, but to all of us, that he is kind of going to step away from the U.S. title picture for the time being and focus on the World Heavyweight Championship, because I still believe that Sami Zayn is one of the favorites, early favorites, to win that 2026 Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. Now, as far as Ilya Dragunov and Aleister Black goes, this was a very good match between both men. Aleister Black came out here with a new presentation with his wife, Zelina Vega. A lot of people, I've seen a lot of comparisons between him and Zelina and Karrion Kross and Scarlett. I don't know if that's on purpose. I don't know if that's something that was done intentionally. But regardless, we did get this match, and eventually we got Damian Priest come out here post-match after Ilya won due to Priest. Priest came out here and attacked Aleister Black. Eventually Zelina helped him out for the save. But post your comments down below for what you thought of tonight's episode of Smackdown. Leave your comments and your thoughts of Smackdown, what you thought of Smackdown here tonight. Was it a good or bad show? Let me know down in the comments, and until next time, I will see all of you on the next one.